To this now, nearly 53 million rand worth of cars, homes, and these are monies as well as in cash. These were seized in 4 properties. This is in connection, or rather 4 provinces. This is in connection with irregular Covid-19 contracts. They were awarded by the Mpumalanga Public Works Department. The raids were carried out by the Special Investigating Unit, Asset Forfeiture Unit and the Hawks. Newzroom Afrika's Xoli Mngambi sets the tone for a discussion we're about to have.
The joint operation by the SIU, Hawks and the Asset Forfeiture Unit was carried out in Mpumalanga, Northwest, Gauteng and the Western Cape. In Mpumalanga, several expensive houses were attached by the SIU.
There are about 29 of these houses, and there are about 31 cars and a boat. Bank accounts, bail monies are all being seized as part of the recovery of this money that was given to these people unlawfully. We have got this operation happening in 34 locations at the same time. And most of them are here in Mpumalanga. We've got one in the Western Cape. We've got in the Northwest at Rustenburg. We've got in Hartbeespoort where the boat is.
The investigation conducted by the Hawks and the Special Investigating Unit revealed that service providers paid substantial kickbacks to department officials and their family members.
Some of these people have been arrested already, and that is why we are talking about seizing their bail money, because even after, if anything, they have to be given their bail money, it will be attached, because that's what we are doing today.
During the investigation, after we received the case from FIU, we managed to link the suspects with the crime, whereby 22 of them who were the officials, they were arrested. Investigation also revealed that these people had the properties, which it was a proceed of crime. The court decided to attach those properties. Hence, today we are here to make sure that those properties are being seized to recover the money. The trial has started yesterday, whereby some of the accused appeared in court, and today also they are appearing. The court is scheduled for the whole week, where all of our suspects will be continuing with their court appearances.
For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Xoli Mngambi in White River, Mpumalanga.
Let's talk more on this now, and Mpumalanga government spokesperson is George Mthethwa, who joins us now. Mr. Mthethwa, good evening to you, and thank you very much for your time. Let's begin with the status of these government workers. These are senior officials within the Public Works Department. What is their status right now at work?
Well, good evening to you, Xoli, and thank you so much for having me. It's always good to be on your show. Well, we must indicate that indeed this is an investigation that is still going on, and as you may have realized, that the Premier, Mr. Mandla Ndlovu, has actually welcomed the investigation because it seeks to improve the image of government as an institution that is actually designed to provide service delivery to the communities. And so your question, the status of the officials, well, we must indicate that since the investigation is still undergoing and proceeding, well, they are still, some of them have since jumped ship, and others, of course, given the status of the investigation, well, they still maintain their positions for now.
And they are in their jobs. How many people are we talking in total?
Well, initially we had about 6 officials were actually implicated. And as the investigation was pursued by the 3 law enforcement agencies, the number then scaled down from 6 to 4, given that others actually decided to actually resign from their positions.
So as we speak now, there are 4 individuals who are within the employ of the Public Works Department, they have not resigned. Are they still getting their salaries?
Well, of course, they are still in the employ of the provincial government. As I indicate, they are, of course, still within the employ of the provincial government. And just to remind you and, of course, our viewers, we move from the premise that says anyone is actually presumed innocent until they are proven otherwise. And so we are of the view that we should allow the investigation by the three law investigating agencies to unfold and conclude. It's then that the status of the cited officials will then be determined moving forward.
Government has been talking for a long time, Mr. Mthethwa, about what is called lifestyle audits, particularly of its government officials. Is the Mpumalanga province doing that? And perhaps let's be specific to the department that appears to have been the site of looting here. Are lifestyle audits carried out by the Mpumalanga departments?
Well, let's first indicate that your assertion is quite correct. We are a government that is very much committed to root out any malfeasance in the public service. In fact, the Premier has been upfront in this case. When he assumed responsibility, well, he did commit himself as well as the entire executive, that is the Executive Council. And he emphasized the point that one of his preoccupation as he takes over the reins, he will actually pay special attention to the issue of rooting out any form of malpractice, any form of malfeasance, any form of maladministration, so that we can run an institution that is of high integrity. And of course, in instances of this nature, they actually provide that support in that you can not only fight such malpractice within, given the the strength of the government within, but of course such law enforcement agencies with the mandate and the resources to do so, when they come into the space, they actually jack up the Premier's assertion and also the commitment that he has made. And so the issue of conducting lifestyle audit, well, it's a matter that is also receiving attention, but where cases or allegations have actually emerged, that is why we then zoom into that space and provide, especially the investigation with the necessary information, so that we can support through evidence, which will then be required, so that the case can then be successful. Can be successful.
All right, I'll use your words to ask the next question. You say the matter of lifestyle audits is receiving attention. So, what I would surmise from that then is that lifestyle audits in Mpumalanga have not been carried out, have never been carried out. It is something that the government is still looking to implement. Am I correct?
Well, let's correct it. This is work in progress. It does not necessarily mean that lifestyle audits are not conducted completely. But of course, they are conducted in phases. It has already started. And of course, it may not just be wholesome, given the availability of resources. And so in cases, as I have already alluded to, in cases where allegations of corruption are pointed to, we then rope in other state structures such as the SIU, as you have seen in this case, of course, working with other different investigating units. And in that case, we are able to zoom into those areas where allegations of corruption have already been pointed out. So,
all right, Mr. Mthethwa,
indeed.
Let me stop you there for a moment. So let me stop you there for a moment. So you suggesting then that these 3 law enforcement agencies were prompted by the Mpumalanga government because there was suspicion that some government officials are living beyond their means? Is that what you are saying, that this latest investigation was prompted by yourselves through the lifestyle audits that were conducted?
Well, let's put it properly. I am saying 1, lifestyle audits are indeed carried out. But of course, this will actually be done in phases. And I'm emphasizing the point, based on your question earlier, that we are not conducting lifestyle audit. We are, of course, conducting them. Of course, in some instances, as I say, it will actually be the work that we are doing in collaboration with law enforcement agencies and also investigating agencies, just as this case in point. But most importantly, in some instances, of course, as we always promote the issue of integrity, and that where allegations of corruption actually emerge, we'll also prompt even our own staff within.
Mr. Mthethwa.
And also...
Mr. Mthethwa, unfortunately, I'm out of time, but
yeah.
I have to stop you because I don't think I'm getting anywhere. There is no correlation with what you are saying, because lifestyle audits clearly have not started in Mpumalanga. You can't say for a fact that this investigation was prompted by yourselves. That wouldn't be true. And so earlier you alluded to the image of government in Mpumalanga. That image right now, can you, at least you and I, agree that it is in tatters right now, because the very same people who are and possibly have been living beyond their means are still being paid by the government while they are going through a court case for possible corruption? The people of Mpumalanga are simply being robbed blind. Do we agree?
No. I think let's correct that, Xoli. I think we must correct that. Let's first deal with the issue of the image of the province. I don't think it is entirely true that the image of the provincial government is in tatters. I think let's correct that. We must indicate that there are pockets of excellence that is being done by the provincial government in terms of service delivery. Of course, the issue of corruption, as we say, it's something, and the Premier said that also in his speech when he assumed office, that it's a matter that must be dealt with, harshly so. And that will actually be an area that is going to pay special attention. So you cannot say then that the image of the provincial government is in tatters on that basis, because there are areas, in fact, pockets of excellence. And now coming also to the issue that we are not doing anything in terms of lifestyle audit. I've already explained that this will actually, it actually unfolds in phases. It's not that we are not doing it entirely. And so that should actually be corrected.
Okay.
But having said that, I think as my parting shot, we must indicate that the steps that has been taken by the 3 law enforcement agencies actually built into what we aspire to achieve, to run a government that is of integrity, and also to improve the conduct of the public service, so that their preoccupation should actually be service delivery and nothing else.
George Mthethwa, thank you very much for your time.